Good afternoon. Earlier this spring, our community was shaken by what happened at a school track meet in Frisco. The violent loss of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. For weeks now, my team has been presenting evidence to the grand jury, and today I summarized that evidence, and I asked the grand jury to return a first-degree murder indictment against Karmelo Anthony, which they did. With this indictment, the case now moves formally into the court system. From this point forward, we'll continue doing our job both fully and fairly to pursue justice under the law. As for the scheduling of the trial, that will be up to the court. But when the time comes, we will be ready. Now, we know that this case has struck a deep nerve here in Collin County and beyond. And that's understandable. When something like this happens at a school event, it shakes people to the core. But let's remember that the justice system works best when it moves with steadiness and principle. That's what we're committed to, and that's what this case deserves. We're also mindful of Austin's family and everyone who loved him. Please keep them in your thoughts, and if you're willing, your prayers as well. Finally, let's remember that a defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law.
Today's indictment of Karmelo Anthony is an expected and routine step in the legal process. An indictment is a procedural step that happens in virtually every felony criminal case. It's a document that lays out for both the prosecution and the defense what the prosecution must prove beyond a reasonable doubt in court. An indictment simply means that a grand jury, after hearing only the prosecution's side of the story, determined that there was enough evidence to allow the case to move forward to court. That's all an indictment means. Karmelo and his family are confident in the justice system and the people of Collin County to be fair and impartial.
I'm going to just tell you, bro, it looked like he got an uphill battle on his hands, and I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. And so I hope that over $500,000, they're going to need every single dime, every single penny in order to try to defend this dude, because I don't see a way out of it. Now, when this first hit, obviously it turned into a whole racial debate, which I personally am not leaning into the race aspect of it. I see an individual that, and this is my personal thoughts, I seen an individual that intentionally carried a knife and pulled out a knife and took somebody else's life, and then they tried to feign it as though he was defending himself, when in reality, he should have never had a knife there in the first place, and then it turned into murder. So now they're basically indicting him on first-degree murder, and they charging him, and he's facing life in prison, and that's unfortunate because he's probably basically threw his life away. Even if he was to ever get off, to be honest with you, he would 100% basically have thrown his life away. But the fact that he is still facing a first-degree murder charge and they're actually going after him with that, and I know that the family had basically said that they were leveraging the money from the Go Send Go, or whatever it is that they got the money from, GoFundMe, however you want to frame it, that they were going to leverage that money in order to find a new house so that they can now be protected. And I'm assuming that people are still donating. I'm assuming, or maybe not so much so, because it's not as popular to talk about right now. But now that they've basically revived the case, because obviously you had a whole lot of other news that hit the cycle that then allowed for us to be able to get distracted, they are now reviving this whole conversation around what it is that he did and whether or not he should be held accountable. And basically they charging him as an adult. So according to the first degree felony murder charges, if he is convicted, it is a strong possibility he will either spend anywhere from 5 to 99 years or life in prison. And that, my friends, is the bingo card that you get when you then make a split-second emotional decision and you don't lean into your logic, but your emotions take over, and next thing you know, you sitting there waiting to be charged for first-degree murder, and the grand jury is now indicted him. And so I just don't think there's anything good that comes out of this, honestly. You got one side where, a young man basically lost his life. You got another side where the young man is now facing the possibility of life in prison, and nobody is feeling any sympathy for anybody because a life was lost, and it absolutely, positively could have been avoided. Let's continue.
Of course, Karmelo looks forward to his day in court. It's only in a trial that a jury will hear the full story, one that includes critical facts and context that the grand jury simply didn't get to hear.
I wonder why they didn't hire a black attorney. Remember when everything was all blackety black? When they had removed the father from the press conference?
It's only in a trial that both sides get to present evidence and cross-examine each other's witnesses. This is why our justice system is based on the principle of a full and fair trial. That's because it's only in a trial that the full story can be heard and that impartial justice can be done. We expect that when the full story is heard, the prosecution will not be able to rule out the reasonable doubt that Karmelo Anthony may have acted in self-defense. Self-defense is a fundamental right guaranteed every American. The law is clear. When self-defense is raised by the facts, the law puts the burden squarely on the prosecution to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the citizen accused did not act in self-defense.
Now, I heard that they actually had surveillance footage that actually shows what happened, and it was damning, which is one of the reasons why he's now facing a first-degree murder charge. Initially, we thought that he was going to face a capital murder charge, but he's facing a first-degree murder charge. And so they're saying, and I didn't hear it, so I never reported on it because I want to make sure that the platform is operating out of integrity. I didn't actually see any footage. I searched and I searched and I searched. And I don't know where everybody else got all of this grandstanding as far as footage is concerned. But I searched feverishly and I couldn't find any footage that could substantiate that they had released it to the general public. All right, I even searched on some of the back end sites. I'm not proud of where I went to go search for that footage. But I tried to go and get it so that I can get some context to add it to this conversation back when they was reporting it. When all of the YouTubers jumped on it, I refrained from it because I wanted to hear the full context and see the video for myself. I never seen it. I never seen anybody actually review the video live. So it was difficult for me to be able to substantiate. I don't know where everybody else getting the information. But that is allegedly why they are charging him with first-degree murder.
The law does not expect or require the citizen accused to prove that they acted in self-defense. It's actually the opposite. The law requires the prosecution to rule out the reasonable doubt that the citizen accused may have acted in self-defense. We understand that this case has sparked strong reactions. Please remember that there are real human beings, kids, on both sides of this case. We ask that everyone do as the law requires and withhold judgment until all the evidence can be heard in court.
That's what we're trying to do, but it's hard to when everything is so sensationalized and basically you getting convicted in the court of public opinion. I think that this is an uphill battle. I think that he is in trouble. I don't know what's right or wrong until we actually get to see the footage. We know what the police reports is talking about. We know what it is that they presented to us in the press conference. We know how his father felt and what he said. But the one thing that we haven't all seen personally, unless somebody got some access that I'm not familiar with, is we have not actually seen the footage as presented. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to keep my ears peeled and be on top of things. Make sure you guys tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. We just did an AI live stream that I re-uploaded for you guys, and it's absolutely awesome. So you definitely need to tap into that so that you can make sure that you understand all of the possibilities of how you can make money and how you can leverage it, whether you're in corporate America, whether you're in business, or whether you even, if you're a content creator. You can absolutely tap into it to make sure that you run up a bag as a result of it. I love you. I appreciate you. I want to know what y'all think inside of the comments.